So let's.
Yeah. I keep you able to hear me on your end.
You keep hearing me, hearing yourself. Did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know then. But everything seems all right here. Oh, okay, we are live here. Woohoo! It's live, everybody! Look, we're live. Everyone will be like, "Yeah, okay, we've waited long enough for you to get live again." But here we go. So what we'll do is we'll wait a few moments for maybe some stragglers to come on board, so they don't miss the start. But what I'll do is I'll turn this up, see how it sounds. If you talk on the live a sec, Nell, just so I can.
Hey guys.
Okay, yeah, it's quiet, but it's not nowhere near as bad as last week. So okay,
Hey,
we're good.
should I just like stick closest to the mic? Do you think?
Just swallow it. Just eat it.
Ah.
Yeah. Wait, it's not past 9 o'clock. It's not post watershed yet. And he's off.
Didn't take long.
No, exactly. But yes, apologies, people who we're a little bit late. Again, a couple of technical issues, but at least we are live this week, which is a cracking thing.
Hi.
Yay. Hi, Rowan's Runes. Yay, you got here. Big it up.
Spooky party started.
Yeah. I'm gonna do my Michael Myers dance. And stab. And thrust. And stab. And thrust. I don't think he does that, but we move, yeah. So without further ado, what I'll do is get on with the introduction.
Yes, let's do it.
So, welcome, dear viewers and listeners, to Spooky Shenanigans, your podcast and now live stream for all things spooky, creepy, and downright strange. Today, you are joined as usual by yours truly, PJ, the resident cynic, and all things logical, scientific, and intellectual. And also our resident believer, Nell.
Hey guys. Team Dick for the win.
Woo! She's the best witch.
Damn right.
But in today's episode, if you can't tell, if the big red bloody writing's not too much of a giveaway, today we're heading across the really small pond to one of the most notorious places in American history. No, it's not Mar-a-Lago Estate in Florida. It's Alcatraz. This island prison, sitting smack in the middle of San Francisco Bay, has seen its fair share of bad guys and brutal conditions. It's probably best known for holding some of the most dangerous criminals in the US, like Al Capone, say? And I don't actually know if he spoke like that, but you know, it's kind of like a mafia stereotype, isn't it?
A little bit.
And and the Birdman of Alcatraz. But trust me, it's not just the convicts that make this place infamous. It's what still lingers there long after the prisoners have left. This is why I don't do ghost tours, because everyone would just be pissed themselves around.
They would. They really would.
Like, is this a fucking stand-up or is this a ghost tour? Alcatraz was designed to be inescapable. The freezing water, strong currents, not raisins, and isolated location made it the ideal spot to stash the worst of the worst. But behind those cold concrete walls, there's something much darker than prison sentences and failed escape attempts. The whole place just oozes an atmosphere of despair, and there are countless stories of eerie sightings, strange noises, and that feeling, you probably know the one, like you're being watched, even when there's no one else around. Guards, inmates, and visitors have all reported paranormal activity for decades. We're talking disembodied screams, cold spots, footsteps echoing down empty corridors, and even full-on apparitions of former prisoners. Sadly, no light orbs. That's when you know it's haunted, when a fucking orb crosses the screen. Oh, ghost! Some of the most notorious criminals are said to still be lurking in their cells. And trust me, they didn't get friendlier in the afterlife. But of course, we'll be getting into all of that. So no spoilers from me this week anyway. And maybe even trying to figure out why some places just seem to trap all of that negative energy. Alcatraz is more than just a prison. It's a ghost story waiting to be told. So,
nicely done, nicely done.
Thank you very much. I haven't lost the writing habit. Anyway, over to you.
Thank you very much. So, like we did last week, I am going to add a little bit of music.
Yay.
To set the theme.
I really like that. It's a good touch.
Yeah, I thought so. And let's jump in, shall we?
Absolutely. Who ordered a Kate Bush?
So, the indigenous people occupied much of the San Francisco Bay Area for more than 10,000 years before Europeans arrived. Evidence shows that Alcatraz Island was not only an important transport hub for them, but it was also a food gathering site. Eggs from large waterfowl were collected on the island, and fishing off its shores was common. Evidence suggests that the island was also used as ceremonial sites and to isolate community members who broke tribal laws, foreshadowing its later destiny. In 1775, Spanish explorer Juan Manuel Villela mapped and named rugged Alcatraz Island, christening it La Isla de los Alcatraz, or Island of the Pelicans, due to its large population of seabirds. 75 years later, in 1850, President Millard Fillmore signed an order reserving the island for military use. During the 1850s, a fortress was constructed on Alcatraz, and some 100 cannons were installed around the island to protect San Francisco Bay. Also, during this time, Alcatraz became home to the West Coast's first operational lighthouse. So, already it's got quite a bit of history behind it, even before the place became a field prison.
Yeah, well, if you look at some of the other places we've done, anything with a military history or presence tends to have some sort of supposedly ghostly activity.
Exactly. By the late 1850s, the US Army had begun holding military prisoners at Alcatraz. Isolated from the mainland by the cold, strong waters of San Francisco Bay, the island was deemed an ideal location for a prison. It was assumed no Alcatraz inmate could attempt to escape by swimming and survive. During its season for military prison, the inmates at Alcatraz included Confederate sympathizers and citizens accused of treason during the American Civil War. Alcatraz also housed a number of quote-unquote rebellious American Indians. The inmate population at Alcatraz continued to rise during the Spanish-American War in 1898. During the early 20th century, inmate labour fueled the construction of a new cell house that is, in fact, the 600 cell structure that stands today, along with a hospital, mess hall, and other prison buildings. According belonging to the National Park Service, when this new complex was finished in 1912, it was the world's largest reinforced concrete building. In 1933, the Army relinquished Alcatraz to the US Justice Department, who wanted a federal prison that could house a criminal population too difficult or deemed too dangerous to be handled by other US penitentiaries. Following construction to make the existing complex at Alcatraz more secure, the maximum security facility officially opened July 1st, 1934. The first warden, James A. Johnston, hired approximately one guard for every 3 prisoners, and each prisoner had his own cell. Now, when I hear one guard for every 3 prisoners, all I can think of, okay, is work brain kicks in here, because in the age group that I work in, our ratio is 1 to 3. So right now, that's all I can think of.
Yeah, and your prisoners are worse.
They can be sometimes. They can be, trust me.
No, I can imagine some of the Alcatraz prisoners probably shit their pants and screamed a lot as well.
Probably. It's, yeah, especially by the time they left.
Yeah.
So, among those who did time at The Rock was the notorious gangster Al Scarface Capone, who spent 4.5 years there during the 1930s. His arrival on the island generated headlines across America. Capone was sent to Alcatraz because his incarceration in Atlanta, Georgia, had allowed him to remain in contact with the outside world and continue to run his criminal operation in Chicago. He was also known to corrupt prison officers, and all of that ended when he was sent to Alcatraz. Now, I have a little bit of fun story time here, talking about, like, you know, the mafia and everything like that.
Yeah.
And if I disappear after this video, you will know why. Okay.
Don't bring me into this.
I'm not talking about you. Okay?
Yeah, no, I'm saying I'm complicit now. Is that dangerous?
You know too much. You know too much. So, years ago, when Bunny and I first started dating, there was the most incredible Italian place in town that we would go to for dinner sometimes on date nights. And, oh my God, this Italian place, best damn food in the world. The wine was just, well, I've never had wine like it. And yeah, it was just this gorgeous, gorgeous place. But it's really weird because every time we went there, it used to be on a Saturday night. So, you know, middle of town, Saturday night, you'd think it would be really, really busy, right? The few times we went there, the place was pretty much empty. Like, every time. And we remember, like, every time sitting there going, this is really weird. Like, where is everybody? Like, you know, like, in the middle of town on a weekend, amazing food. I mean, you know, like, this was, like, really top-notch, fresh stuff.
Like a proper mom and pop's place, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, this wasn't like your standard Belly Italia fare. Like, you know, it was proper decent food.
Yeah.
And the place was just empty. And at one point, I remember us actually asking our waitress, you know, like, where's everybody? Like, it's a Saturday night. And I remember her kind of coming up with the issues of, you know, oh, we usually get, like, a really busy lunch crowd. And we're just kind of sitting there like, really? Okay. Like, I don't believe you, but sure. Okay.
What, the
Like,
restaurant?
there's nothing there.
Well, like just a hole in the in the ground.
No, but it was empty.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and it just like this is so weird because like I don't know, it just nothing, nothing will convince me that the place wasn't run by the mafia. That it wasn't some kind of front.
Mm.
Because, like, why else would a really, you know, decent place with decent food have, like, no one there at all? Where, nights where it's meant to be busy as hell. Or you that expect it to be busy as hell.
Did you know anyone else that used to go there?
I don't think so.
So either A, you and Bernie have a really low bar on quality of Italian food, and everyone else is like, this is shit. That's why the business ran out.
Nah.
Or two, you were both tripping every time you went, and you didn't actually, like, there was no Italian restaurant. No. Oh my god! Imagine if you guys had stepped through like a time loop. Like,
that would have been so cool.
I know, and people watched you guys just walk into an abandoned building, and then they're like, "Where'd they go?" Or you and Bernie just sat in the middle of an empty restaurant talking to each other, eating with invisible plates and cutlery off an invisible.
That would be creepy. That would be a story worth telling.
Yeah, I prefer that over the mafia.
No, but it would kind of make sense because obviously Southampton has port and docks, so it wouldn't have been completely out of the realm of possibility. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if I suddenly disappear after this live and no one ever sees me again, I'm just saying.
So I was going to say, Big Tony, I don't know nothing about this Big Tony, all right? I don't know who this broad is.
Yeah, so if anyone from the mafia is watching this, I'm sorry, the food was amazing. Don't come after me, please.
It was better than any Dolmio day.
Exactly. Just mwah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Fucking half an hour diversion.
So, other famous or infamous Alcatraz inmates included George Machine Gun Kelly, who spent 17 years there on a kidnapping conviction, gangster Alvin Karpowskis, listed as public enemy number 1 by the FBI in the 1930s, spent over 25 years behind bars at Alcatraz, reportedly more time than any other prisoner. Murderer Robert Stroud, also known as the Birthman of Alcatraz, was transferred there after 2 decades at the federal penitentiary in Kansas. Stroud arrived on the island in 1942 and served 17 years there. However, despite his nickname, he was not permitted to keep birds at Alcatraz as he had while locked up at Leavenworth. So, these are a few of the kind of well-known names. And, as we said earlier, it was kind of considered pretty much impossible to escape. However, there were those who tried.
Don't blame him.
Neither do I. So, over the years, there were 14 known attempts to escape from Alcatraz, involving 36 inmates. The Federal Bureau of Prisons reports that of these would-be escapees, 23 were captured, 6 were shot and killed during their attempted getaways, 2 drowned, and 5 went missing, presumed drowned. However, no one really knows for sure. There's one interesting quote as well from an anonymous prisoner. Break the rules and you go to prison. Break the prison rules and you go to Alcatraz. The most famous escape attempt resulted in a battle from May 2nd to May 4th, 1946, in which 6 prisoners overpowered cell house officers and were able to gain access to weapons but not the keys needed to leave the prison. In the ensuing battle, the prisoners killed 2 correctional officers and they injured 18 others. The US Marines were called in, and the battle ended with the deaths of 3 of the rogue inmates and the trial of the 3 others, 2 of whom received the death penalty for their action. The federal penitentiary at Alcatraz was shut down in 1963 because its operating expenses were much higher than those for other federal facilities at the time. The prison's island location meant all food and supplies had to be shipped in at great expense. Furthermore, the isolated island buildings were beginning to crumble due to exposure of the salty sea air. During nearly 3 decades of operation, Alcatraz housed a total of 1,576 men. In 1969, a group of Native Americans led by activist Richard Oakes arrived on Alcatraz Island and claimed their land on behalf of Indians of all tribes. The activists hoped to establish a university and a museum on the island. However, Oakes left Alcatraz following the death of his stepdaughter in 1970, and the remaining occupiers, who had become increasingly contentious and divided, were removed by order of President Richard M. Nixon in 1971. The island became part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area in 1972 and was opened to the public a year later. Today, some 1 million tourists visit Alcatraz each year.
Oh, that's definitely on the list as well.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Alcatraz is one of the places that has been pretty high up on my spooky bucket list for so long.
And considering the amount of times I've been to America and also specifically California, I've still not been to San Fran.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I need to get there.
Make it happen, my dear. We need to make it happen.
Next year.
Everything's just be happening next year.
It is all that YouTube money. Make it rain.
So we've talked about the history of the place. So I think it's time to get into the spooky aspect of things.
Absolutely. First off, I just saw something that Rowan said earlier. Sorry, I'm Team Believer. I knew there was something. Nah, I knew there was something dodgy about you. Though I did grow up with a Rowan, and yeah, and that Rowan, she was pretty cool. Some would say odd, some would say weird, but like we're the best people, us odd and weird people. So,
hell yeah.
Who wants to be a normie? Yes, on to the spooks. Sorry, Rowan. Well, dodgy me. We're gonna get on.
So there are plenty of stories of goosey goings on at Alcatraz from both staff there and visitors. So some are things such as sounds of men's voices, screams, whistles, and clanging metal doors, which, you know,
Prison.
kind of, yeah. Spirits lurking in the shadows are often felt, heard, and seen by the staff and visitors. Several guards have had some extraordinary experiences, like hearing the sounds of sobbing and moaning, terrible smells, and something they call the Thing, which is apparently an entity with glowing eyes.
Cryptid. Mothman. It's to rival Birdman.
Oh, you know what? At some point soon, we should totally do a episode on cryptids.
Yeah, because I watched this YouTuber called Fooster. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Fooster. And he did one recently about a cryptid, about the Mothman, and that was pretty cool. But
Nice.
that was obviously a horror game, but that looked really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to add it to the list. My ever-growing list.
Rowan agrees on both fronts. Fooster and cryptids. Hey! Winning!
Hashtag winning. So, let's start with a little film called The Lighthouse Ghost. The Alcatraz Lighthouse, which guided ships safely through the treacherous waters, has also become the subject of ghostly tales. Legend has it that a former lighthouse keeper who died in a tragic accident still roams the tower. Visitors have often reported seeing a ghostly figure ascending the spiral staircase as if carrying out his duties even in death. Oh, can you imagine, like, being a ghost and just kind of continuing on with whatever job you had in life? God, that would be awful.
I know, this is what pisses me off about Beetlejuice. You just see that people sat behind a desk, or Danny DeVito in Beetlejuice 2, mopping the floor. And I'm like, imagine dying. And you wake up and go, eternal rest. That's what we just told you up there. Here's your employee number, get to work. And you're like, fuck, how'd you escape this? I chucked myself in the sandworm's mouth.
Honestly, I'm not too sure how I'd do my job as a ghost, really.
No.
I don't know. I'd go to pick up a baby and my hands would just kind of pass through them.
Yeah. And it would just start screaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I think I might need a different ghost job.
Yeah.
In fact, tell you what, guys, I'll leave that to you. What job should I have as the ghost? And also, what job would you want as the ghost?
And what job would you give me? Actually, that would be funny, wouldn't it? Imagine if I was a ghost. I'd be looking in the mirror going, I don't believe in you.
It's okay, PJ. It's okay. I believe in you.
Oh yeah, it's that meme, wasn't it? Just remembered now.
You gotta love a good meme.
Mimi.
Okay, so moving on.
Zoom.
There is a particularly haunted cell, which is considered somewhat notorious.
Okay, we like Notorious.
We like notorious, yes, we do. And that one is 14D, otherwise known as the Hole, where rebellious inmates were confined in total isolation. 14D is permeated by a perpetual chill. One inmate, Ruth McCain, was confined here for over 3 years after an escape attempt. Shortly after being released from the hole, he stabbed another inmate to death and was acquitted on the ground that cell 14D had done irreparable damage to his psyche. Cell 14D is one of the cells that prisoners were sent to as a great punishment, and they would basically be stripped, forced into this completely black cell, no furniture, no bed, no nothing, and they would basically, they'd have a hole in the floor to use as the toilet.
What more do they want?
Right?
They got walls. They got a floor.
But no, they're just going to be left there in complete darkness for weeks sometimes. So,
Nice.
it's not surprising that some of them went a little bit,
Doolally.
loopy.
Yeah.
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 So, visitors often report feeling raw coldness enveloping the room, like more than one spirit is still present there. And in the 1940s, a man actually died in cell 14D. The rumour has it that the night before his death, he kept screaming that a creature with glowing red eyes was trying to kill him. The next morning, the guards found him strangled to death on the floor of the room.
Wait, was he in the cell alone?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one of the guards did it.
Yeah, but where would the glowing red eyes come from then?
Well, you said yourself that they go a bit mad.
Maybe.
It'd been in that isolation long enough and in that dark, I'm sure your brain would start creating things.
Yeah, quite possibly. Quite possibly. But then, there have also been stories of other people seeing the same kind of thing at Alcatraz exclusively. So
Folk tales.
I don't know.
Yeah. Just good old shower tales, as you're washing your buddy's back. Oh, have you heard any good stories? Oh, yeah, there's this glowing red eyes. Tell the guard that. Thanks. One finger or two.
Here we go. What did I find you again?
A very dark place.
So, other places that are reported to be haunted are cell blocks A, B, and C. And this is where Alcatraz visitors on staff frequently hear crying coming from the cells. And in addition to that, a psychic reported encountering a malevolent spirit named Butcher here. And prison records actually show that a man nicknamed the Butcher was actually assassinated there back in the 1940s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's very likely that he could still be around.
Have you watched the Amazon Prime show, The Boys? There's a character in there called Butcher, so I can only think of him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's an Australian in America putting on a Cockney accent, so you can imagine how that goes.
Interesting.
He's like, I'm going to fat you up. And it's like, oh, God, shut up. New.
Just new.
Yeah.
How about new?
New.
So, of course, another big name behind the hauntings, it would be Al Capone himself. And the way that he's usually noticed and makes himself known is the sound of banjo music, which he was very fond of playing in life. And it said that, people still hear banjo music playing.
Huh.
When there shouldn't be banjo music.
That's pretty cool. Never knew that about him.
Yeah.
Ding 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 ding.
Apparently he would entertain prisoners in his cell with it. So, yeah. So, we have our big list of various coloured ladies in ghostly stories. Alcatraz has a lady in green.
Oh, we're getting closer to Rainbow Lady.
We are getting close to Rainbow Lady, yes. One time, one day I will be looking for, for a particular case for an episode, and we will come across a Rainbow Lady.
We best now. I'll be fuming otherwise.
I will see what I can do. So, another famous ghost of Alcatraz is that of the Lady in Green. According to reports, this ghostly woman is often seen in the washroom of the former apartment of the prison warden, located on Alcatraz Hill. She's described as a woman in her 40s with brown hair and wearing a green dress. It is said that she was the wife of the prison warden who committed suicide on the island while her husband was working there. Since then, she has been haunting the place and is often seen looking out of the window.
All right.
No, right? Okay.
She looks out of a window. Fucking hell. Sorry, they're all having this ghostly meet-up. It's like a school reunion sort of thing. And, the one's there like, what do you do? Oh, I possess people. The other one's like, I shake ghostly bloody chains. And Muriel, what do you do? I look out of windows. And they're like, fucking hell. I killed Nell.
Another ghost that is reportedly cited is that of the Birdman of Alcatraz himself. Robert Stroud, also known as Birdman, he spent more than 17 years in solitary confinement at Alcatraz for murdering a prison guard at another facility where he was being incarcerated. During his stay at Alcatraz, he raised birds in his cell and became an expert in them. And apparently he wrote quite a few books about them, which is very cool.
Wow.
And I think he also found a cure for a particular kind of illness in birds too.
Oh, so some good did come from him.
Yeah. So it is said that since his death in 1953, his spirit still haunts the island. Some visitors to Alcatraz have reported seeing a man fitting his description in and around the former hospital where he spent most of his time there.
Okay.
So,
With ghostly birds or just...
who knows? Who knows? Yeah, but I mean, like I said before, like Alcatraz has been pretty much near the top of my list for ghostly places I want to visit at some point.
Yeah. When the channel's properly up there, we'll have to do an overnight stay if they allow it.
That'd be so cool.
In cell 14D.
Anyway, oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, like for me, I think I consider this very similar to Pavaglia Island in the fact of I'd love to go during the day, but I'm not sure about at night just because where it is so far from actual, civilization. Like, if anything were to happen there, then you'd get, you'd be pretty stuffed.
Weak. Just bring a med pack. Just bring a first aid box. You'll be fine. Slap a bandage on it. You'll be all right, mate.
Or in schools, put a wet paper towel on it and it'll be fine.
Exactly. I lost my leg at the knee. Wet paper towel. Done.
Oh no, my arm's been bitten off by... It's like, I can tell you fine.
That was like my nan. I think we all had that sort of nan. Mine was like, oh, just stick a bit of calamine lotion on it. A bit of calamine lotion, a bit of Dettol. It's like, I've got gangrene.
It'll be fine.
Fucking hell.
So, yeah, I definitely want to go to Alcatraz at some point.
Yes.
And like it's been the site of so many ghost shows that I've seen too. It just looks like a really cool place to visit. Like even without all the ghost stories, like just for the history of it.
Yeah. Did you say it was featured on Fear Factor? Is it Project Fear?
Project Fear, yeah.
Yeah. I still need to watch that. I think you've mentioned it to me 50 times.
The Hall Boys have also been there too.
I think I've seen that one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Come on, demons.
Hey, demons, it's me, your boy.
Give us your best shot.
Put
Put them up. And guess what? They never do.
So, what do you think, guys? Do you think that the spirits of long dead prisoners are still roaming the halls? Or
No.
is it all... I wasn't asking you. I think that there's a very good possibility that there is. And the Nelometer, I'm probably at about 4.5 on this, I'd say.
Nah.
It's a pretty spooky place.
You got to make a commitment. None of this half crap. It's either a 4 or it's a 5.
Oh.
Otherwise, you might as well do out of 10. So it's got to be a whole. Or you're spending the night in cell 14D.
Oh no.
Oh. Okay, guys, I don't know what happened there. Nell just disappeared. I think Nell has... oh, hang on. Let's
I'm not hearing you.
bring you back.
I can't hear you.
Oh, great. Yeah, Ghost... Ghostus always plays a role in this.
So well.
I know. I'm guessing we were at the end. Almost done. Yeah. Shall I wrap it up? Yeah. Okay.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Apologies for the slight technical delay, but at least they happened at the end. Yeah, like we said, what do you guys think? Do you think that there is a chance that, you know, the ghosts of I'm not looking at you. I'm not looking at you. I'm covering your face up on camera, okay? Is there any chance that the spirits of London prisoners and guards remain here? Let us know in the comments below. And yeah, if you guys have any experiences that you want to share with us, then obviously, again, let us know. We'd love to hear them. Join us next week where we will be talking about a case that's a little bit closer to home. And yes, indeed, it's an interesting one because we're going to be talking about the Hexton Heads. Ooh, yes, indeed. And this is probably one of my favourite cases because it's one of the things that kind of got me interested in the supernatural in the first place. But I'm not saying any more than that in and find out next week.
Okay.
In the meantime, however, again, thank you ever so much for joining us tonight. I'm Nell. I've been joined by my lovely co-host and annoyingly skeptical friend PJ. And until next time, dear watchers, dear listeners,
Stay spooky. I don't know if Doug still hear me, but bye.